Hey folks, how's it going? This is the problem with bookshelves. Is anytime that you need to move, you have to take your books off of the bookshelf, put it in boxes. Now do that for all your books, and then you load up the bookshelf, load up your books, get to your destination, you unload the bookshelf, unload all your books. I was helping someone move the other day, and I thought there's got to be an easier, better way to do this. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to make a better, more utilitarian, multi-use bookshelf. If you watch my other videos, you know how much I like multi-use stuff. We're going to make a bookshelf that doubles as boxes or crates that you can just pick up and take your books. You don't have to unload into a separate box, all that. So let's head up to the garage in the backyard and see what we got to work with. How we're going to make a better, more utilitarian, multi-use bookshelf. All right, so this is what I'm going to use as the basis of my bookshelf. These wooden crates that I picked up at Michael's, the arts and crafts store. It seems like any arts and crafts store has stuff like this. Maybe your local hardware store, like that. These were 10 bucks. These are the 18-inch model, and they are just under 18 inches long, about 12.5 inches wide, and 9.25 inches deep. Few things I'm going to do to these. One is the outer edge of the handle is nice and beveled, right, nice and soft. The inner edge just has a real sharp edge, so I'm gonna sand that down a little bit, make it better on the fingers when you're carrying it. I'm gonna give kind of a rough sanding to all the outside, maybe the inside surfaces. Take down these corners a little bit. I don't like sharp corners on things, just tone those down just a bit. And then I'm gonna throw some stain on it. You can use just normal sandpaper and like a sanding block if you wanted to. I'm just gonna use maybe 120, 220 grit, nothing too abrasive, just kind of take down some of these feathered edges, any loose slivers that are on there, just enough to take down. You can do hand sand. I'm going to use an electric sander. I have 6 of these that I'm going to do, so it'll speed up the process a little bit. But yeah, let's get to sanding. Now that we've got all the sawdust blown off, it's not completely off. There's still going to be some sawdust on it, right? In the pores, excuse me, of the wood. A dry rag or a wet rag will work to get the majority of that sawdust off of there. I mean, you can go at it with a rag. Pretty much nothing. A damp or a wet rag will clean it the best. But the thing with after sanding wood and going at it with a damp or wet rag is that as that water evaporates out of the pores and everything, it does what's called raising the grain, which it makes it feel a tad bit rougher than what you sanded it down to, but it's not gonna like pull up slivers or anything like that. But it just may feel a tad rougher than what you sanded, and that's fine with me. I sanded it to the edge, the outside, to 220 grit, which is plenty soft even with raising the grain. You could stop right here if you wanted to. There's no need to stain them. I mean, you could have even not done any of this, just made the bookshelves out of these crates how they came from the store. No problem with that. But like I said, I don't like sharp corners, don't like sharp edges, you know, all that kind of stuff. And the corners and edges came out real nice, so pleased with that. So what I'll do is I'll take my damp rag, wipe down the outsides, wipe down the inside, and then we should be ready for some stain. Alright, it's been a little while since I filmed last. The last thing you saw, I had a lot dump on my plate recently, and I am making the game time decision that I'm going to forego the staining process. It's just don't have enough time right now, and a lot of little nooks and crannies in here to get into a stain if you want them to look really nice. That, or you just throw it on real thick with a brush and have a lot of cleanup. But so I won't be staining them. There are a few images online. I might throw a few up that they look really nice stained, but unfortunately I just don't have the time. So this might be an anticlimactic video. But let's get these back inside, get some books in them, and see if we need to secure them and how they're gonna look. Well, there she is. Looks pretty good to me. Just a couple things I want to touch on as we close out this video. One being security. You see a lot of like blog posts and videos of people securing them to each other with glue and or screws. And in that case, I feel like you've just made another bookshelf, right? You would then have to take all your books off, put them in a box, move the books, move the shelf as a unit, and reverse that process when you get to your destination. But if that's what you want to do, you want to make a nice creative little bookshelf, a little DIY project, more power to you. I did this to just make it easy to move, less steps in the process of moving, and turned out pretty good. My height and being stacked against each other and against the wall, I don't feel like I really need to secure them to each other. If you feel like you need to secure them, either your height or you're in like an earthquake prone environment or you got little kids on pull on stuff, you know, you need to take that into consideration. Something easy would be like zip ties or 550 cord or decorative bows, anything like that that you wanted to secure them. And like I said, unfortunately I didn't get to stain them. I feel like they'd look a lot better, but you know, easy, quick little project that I was able to do. And I feel like the next step in simplifying or minimizing would be to just get a Kindle, right? Just get rid of all your books, put everything on a Kindle. You just have one device, wouldn't have to worry about moving them at all. And as far as moving goes, that was kind of the whole goal, right? Is to just be able to quickly move books if you are moving houses or you need to move the shelf, whatever. I feel like as long as your books are to the back and they're not going to get damaged or flop around, all you have to do, right? And you're ready to move them wherever you need to move. Don't have to go through the whole process of boxing them up, moving a bookshelf. Just quick and easy. I think that about covers it. So if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, you know, all that jazz. You know how it works. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Nice, simple, utilitarian, easy to move bookshelf. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.